Hey guys, tomorrow I will be filming my 200th video. Hard to believe, but in order to kind of celebrate that a little bit, I'm going to do a live stream. I'm planning on tomorrow night, which is tonight if you're viewing this the first day. It'll be Wednesday, July 22nd, about 9 p.m. Eastern time. So watch for that, and hope you guys can join me, ask me some questions, and we'll celebrate 200 videos. Crazy. Good morning. Well, we are going to spray fungicide on beans today. I just turned the water on. I should have done that last night, but we don't have any water yet, so it's going to take a little bit to get enough to start. But we've got to get the sprayer out. We've got to change the nozzles and get that ready to go. Dad got this out yesterday to get that tractor out, so it's in the way. So I'm going to pull this back in the barn, and then we'll go ahead and get the sprayer out here, until the booms, and get it ready to go. Okay. We've got our sprayer out, and I also got chemical out. You see those boxes sitting over there. I'll show you those in a little bit, but we have to change our nozzles. So we were spraying a herbicide. We were using these brown AI tips. We want this nozzle here. This is a twin jet. Basically there's a hole on the back and the front, so it's going to spray. It's going to have one going backwards and one going forward, kind of a cone pattern to help get good coverage on the plant, because that's what we're after right now, is coating the plant and getting good coverage. Okay, I got them all on the right nozzle. Believe it or not, they are all right, even though there's 3 different color caps. It's at least the right nozzle in them. It's one of my little things that drives me crazy, is that Dad has no consistency to his nozzles and colors and booms, and like the nozzles are all right, but they're not the same color caps. You know, this part here is white, this part here is green, but they're the same nozzle in there, and they're not in the same place. Like, well, these ones are all consistent here, but half of them you got to rotate this way, the other half you got to rotate the other way to get them to the right. And yeah, just like, should all be the same, right? Doesn't that make sense? All right, I'm not sure if we've got quite enough water to do this first field that we're going to or not yet, but we're doing a 36-acre field. We need 560 gallons of water, and we are using our Pro fungicide, which is 3 modes of action. I'll tell you more when I have time. But basically we need to put it in there. The rate is 13.7 fluid ounces per acre, which means we need like 3.8 gallons, like there, 3.3 gallons, 3.8 gallons, something like that. So we're gonna put a full 2.5 in, and then I've got my measuring cup that we're gonna measure out. I need that 45 plus a full gallon plus a full jug, and that goes in this inductor here. Here, that's to rinse out the jugs. We set them on top, push down, and it sprays water inside of them with a rotating nozzle to rinse the inside of the jug out. I think I can show you how that works a little better. Pretty good. So now all our chemical is in. We just got to wait for the water to get up to 560, which it's close. I'm gonna go by that gauge though, I think. Okay, now we turn our valves off. Zoom out. There we go. Hit this switch here to tell it that we're not loading anymore. It closes a valve with air. Take our hose off. That is just water, so I'm not worried about any chemical spilling out. Okay, then we put our cap back on, and we're ready to go spray. Oh, the air conditioner works in here. A little chilly. Let's turn that down. Okay, so now we're going to turn our pump on and the agitation. So that'll mix the chemical in the water inside the tank while we're on our way to the field. Made it to the field. We've got unfolded. I think we're good to go. I got my display set up, I believe. I'm going to double check the right field, the right task. We've got the product in there. It's Triva Pro water, a 15-gallon rate, 13.7 on the chemical. Got my guidance line loaded. We're good to go here. Okay, now we're spraying. Should be good here. I don't know if you guys can see that twin pattern coming out when you look down on the end there. Nozzles all look good. We're doing a good job. We've got about 39, 40 pounds of pressure. Dad told me as long as you're over 30, you're probably okay. So I said, okay. Oh, maybe that's why. There. I had set it on a manual rate for priming it at the end of the field. Forgot to switch it back. But it's the same pressure when I do switch it back. So I think we're good. And yeah. Won't take long here. I'm going to go all the way around the outside of the field, and then we'll start making our passes back and forth. The idea is to stay in the existing sprayer tracks as much as possible. So our sprayer has something called Boom Track Pro on it, and basically it's got sensors, sonar sensors, that it tells it how high above the ground or the crop canopy that the boom is. I can adjust that here. So right now we've got it following the crop canopy, and I've told it to be about 30 inches above the crop. And so it does its best to maintain that as much as possible. When we're early in the season and there's not a canopy, you can go off the ground. But basically you want to keep the boom as low as possible to help reduce drift and get the product on the crop. But you do not want to run the boom into the ground, because then you break stuff. So it's a balance between keeping it low and not hitting the ground, and that boom track does a really good job of keeping it out of the ground. Sometimes it's a little slow to bring it back down if it has to raise it. And depending on your terrain and how flat your ground is makes a big difference too. Well, there's a little strip over there. That's going to be my test strip, because I'm not going back to get it and run over more beans than it's worth. Okay, well, we're done with this field. They go quick. It does not take long to do. This one was 36 acres. I don't know, I was here maybe 15, 20 minutes. We ended up doing a little over 34 acres. There's that strip I missed in the back there, and then some of that low ground that we mowed yesterday. Down over there was actually part of the field, but it was too wet to plant it, so that's where that 1.5 comes from. And 167 acres an hour was her average time coverage rate. Took 0.2 of an hour. That's what, 12 minutes. Yeah, crazy. And just for all of you that worry about fuel economy all the time, we used a whopping 1.3 gallons of diesel fuel. Cost us about $1.75. Okay, next field is 48 acres. We need 720 gallons of water and 5 gallons and 17 fluid ounces of Triva Pro. Well, I didn't quite make it. We got about 650 and I ran out of water. So we'll have to give her 5-10 minutes to finish filling that up. Then we can get what we need. I sprayed that next field, got done with it. The next field I'm going to go to, I'm going to need more water, and I don't think our tanks are full enough yet. So somebody had a brilliant idea for my generator problem that I've got. I was thinking about changing that alternator and stuff, but it's a generator, guys. All we have to do is get it started, and it makes its own power. So we're gonna take my pickup up there, hope that will work to jump start it, and then I'm gonna put a battery charger on the battery and just let it charge it while it's running, and that should work until we get our new alternator. So I'm gonna do that, and I'm hesitant to go and start it up today because it is supposed to rain tonight. It feels like rain. It's cloudy, overcast, fairly cool today. But if it doesn't rain, we're going to get really dry really fast, because when I told you yesterday that there was a chance of rain for like 5 days in a row, yeah, they took it all out. It's all tonight and tomorrow. So either we're going to get it or we're not. And if we do, great. If not, then we're in trouble. So I'm going to go start it up. Let's make a run or two today. We'll see what things look like tonight, just like we did the last time. And at least we're creeping across that field. So I'm going to find a battery charger and some jumper cables, and we're going to go up there and fire up a generator, hopefully. Okay, well, I got the jumper cables hooked up. We'll give her a minute to charge. And hopefully this thing will start. And then I just brought this little trickle charger. I think this will work okay. I did bring a bigger one that's a little bit faster, bigger. This is a 2 amp, that one's a 6. I don't know. I don't really know. We're gonna try this and see if it works. The alternator is not completely dead, not working at all. I think it's just weak, and so it's not putting out enough volts. So just giving it a little boost may be plenty. Well, that didn't take long. That didn't take long at all. Sweet. We're only showing about 9.5 volts, which is why I think that's the alternator that's the problem. So that's why I got a new one coming. All right, we'll give this a minute to warm up, and then we'll start up our pump. The last run that I made, or we were finishing up, whenever that was, it's been a few days ago now. Almost a week. It's been almost a week. Was it last Wednesday? Today's Tuesday? I think that's right. Wow. Anyway, it was like 100 feet from finishing when I shut it down. It didn't, well, the timer timed it out. I don't know if I figured wrong, or I'm not real sure why it didn't pull itself all the way in, but it's not quite done. So we're going to finish that run, and it'll take 24 inches a minute, 150. 50 minutes. It'll take an hour. Is that right? I think that's right. Yeah. Almost an hour. So we'll let that finish, and then we'll come up and move it. And the next one's going to be the same spot, just pulling it straight out the back. My dang center lane is still muddy, and I just did not make it through it. So we're going to send it. Ah, there we go. Don't hit the pipe. Okay. Truck's all muddy. Oh well. That's why I brought this one and not mine. The water takes forever to get here, but so here's what we got. We're at 104 feet. And I could just reel it in and make the next pull, but that's enough that I'll just put the water on, let it run for an hour, and we'll come back up here and move it. All we got to do is spin it 90 degrees, and we're going to pull it out back down the center lane that way. So, and then once we get this run done, and I already did this one, so with the next one we move up to the next riser, and the ground drops off. We're not on the sand ridge quite so much, so it's kind of why I want to get these last two done before it rains. Hopefully it rains, but we'll see. Well, the water's getting here. Slowly. It's coming. Our new inlet seal seems to be working okay. We got a slight drip. I bet that goes away. It did leak just a little bit when it was coming up to pressure, but better than it has been. Go check our pressures out here. Only around 60. I'm surprised. I thought by now we would be pushing up 65 to 70 pounds. I don't know. No big deal, it's fine. We're just not quite getting the gallons of water that I was hoping we would be getting. So anyway, this is good. We're gonna let it run for an hour. Let's go spray another load, and then we'll come back up here and move it. Loading up again. This next field, there's actually two small fields. Well, two fields right next to each other. One of them's smaller, one of them's not. It's a total of about 60 acres, so we need 850-ish gallons of solution. It was a little over 6 gallons of product. Private Pro. We are going to spray some of this Miravis Neo later today. I'm just trying to pick and choose my fields a little bit and what I want where. Man, this is a beautiful field of beans. This one looks great. Those are not ours. They're getting better. They're a little yellow, but they were planted almost a month behind this field, so kind of expect that. Yeah, all right. Well, there's 46 acres in this field in the back, and then we got a little 13-acre chunk up front, so we should have enough chemical to do almost all of it. Let me get a little check strip somewhere. Yeah. So this field and the one up there in front of the ditch are ones that I sprayed manganese in, trying to green these beans up where we had some of that manganese deficiency in the yellow beans. This area here was really bad. They look beautiful. You can see over there a little spot that's a little yellow. Well, that was just outside of where my boom hit, so they didn't get it. Stuff works. Gonna have a little check strip on this one too. We got a little over a half a sprayer pass. I'm not going back for it. So we'll call that good and we'll jump up and finish on the front field there. We've got about 190 gallons left when we get up here. Folding up, another one done. And it's noon. Time to go move our traveler, which is fine because it'll let us get some more water in our tanks. So we got plenty to spray this afternoon. Okay, well, we'll get this pull down the main lane done here. And this is going to be close to a full pull, so it won't quite be 10 hours, but it'll probably be more than 9, which means it'll be about 10 o'clock tonight when it's done, and then we'll have to see what the radar looks like. I'm probably not going to make an overnight pull because of the chance of rain, but we'll get stuff ready and set up so that if we need to, in the morning, it's not raining, we'll start her right back up again. Well, we ended up with, call it 1,084 feet. I went back and checked my records. Turns out we have not yet made that pull, so we're not done with this hookup, but I put the tractor there, so we got to go to the pump and get it started up. Then we'll come back here and start the reel up, so it's rewinding. Okay, well, everything looks good here. This will be done about 9:30 tonight, so we'll let her wind in and then we'll worry about it then. See if we need to make this pull tonight or let her go for the morning. Probably let her go for the morning, but we'll see. But anyway, back to spraying. We have some phenomenal looking corn up here. And these brace roots, like I have never seen brace roots put more roots out like that. Like that's, wow. That's awesome. It's 1:45. As much as I would like to go get some lunch, I don't have time. I've got a meeting at 4 o'clock, so I've got to leave here by 3:30, which means I've got about 2.5 hours to spray as much as we can. So no lunch today. That's all right. All right, let's load the sprayer up. We got 88 acres. It's that very first field of beans that I planted. Used 30-inch rows. We're gonna go do that, and I'm gonna use the other chemical this time. I'm gonna put that Miravis Neo in. I promise, when I get to this field and we get going where I can use the Autosphere, I will explain the difference in the 2 different fungicides to you, why I'm using one over the other, why we're using both, and all that good stuff. You'll notice that it looks very similar to the last chemical that we were using. There's a reason for that. Doing this pass along the road, and I know that as long as I'm in my rows, I'm not gonna hit that pole, but dang does it make me nervous. Whew. The depth perception at 60 feet away is it's not that accurate, let's say. It's the difference between me and Dad. Dad's been doing this long enough. He knows as long as you're in the right spot, you're good, but holy cow, does that make me nervous. And my goodness, do we have some beautiful looking beans in this field. They're not quite canopied, 30-inch rows, that's the bad thing. We're not quite catching all that sunlight. They should get there yet, but I don't know. If we would get some rain, it would certainly help. But the good thing is I'm not really running over any beans because I'm able to drive down the rows. So trade-off, I guess. A little yellow spot here, needs a little manganese, but not worth the trip. Yeah, if we could get some rain over the next couple of weeks through August, we have potential to have some phenomenal beans. Okay, so I promised I would tell you a little bit about those fungicides that we're using. So the two products that we're using, one's TrivaPro, the other is Miravis Neo. They're both from the same company. They are pretty close to the same product, in fact. They're both a triple mode of action, so there's 3 different chemicals that are blended together, and it gives you 3 different modes of action to kill the disease and the fungus and whatever else that is out there. And so it helps to control them better, and it helps to prevent resistance, which is a good thing. So the 3 modes of action are, there's a preventative and a curative fungicide, and then there's another one that's, I guess I don't know what they would call it, if it's considered both preventative and curative, or either way. But so we've got a strobilurin, which is basically Quadris, which if you remember back to when we sprayed our corn early, that's the chemical we used then, just a single mode of action way back then. Because there wasn't anything out there, we were trying to prevent stuff from coming in. That's the preventative, the Quadris, the strobilurin fungicide. We also have one called Tilt in there, which is a propiconazole, I think. I'd have to double check it. It's a, but that's the curative one. So if there is disease out there, it will kill it and keep it from spreading into other areas of the plant. The 3rd mode of action is the newer one. It is an SDHI, and it's the one that's different. So both the TrivaPro and the Miravis Neo both have the Tilt and the Quadris in it at the same rates. There's no difference between them there. The difference is in that SDHI fungicide. TrivaPro uses a little bit older one. In fact, I couldn't even tell you what it is. The Miravis Neo uses a fungicide called Adepidin. Adepidin is the same fungicide that's in the Saltro seed treatment that we use on soybeans. It's a pretty new fungicide, and it's been showing better response than whatever the SDHI and TrivaPro is, and that's why we're kind of experimenting with the Neo. It's a newer one. It is more expensive, which is why we're not spraying all of it. But it seems like that's a pretty good fungicide, and in fact, I'm going to find a couple of fields to split, use both fungicides in the same field, and then we can compare them side by side a little bit. If the Neo provides an extra bushel or 2 per acre, it's worth the added cost. So that's why we're experimenting with it. Guys, remember this spot? It was way too wet to plant this spring. It's not too wet now. Well, it looks like we're going to have about a 60-foot wide test strip in this field too, because I'm not making a full round to get 60 feet. Which also means we're going to have a little bit of chemical left. Probably about 50 gallons or so. We'll just factor that in when we fill up for the next field. This one took me almost a half hour. Yeah. 170 acres an hour, and we use 3.3 gallons of fuel. Okay, I got time to load up one more time. We're just going to do a small batch. I've got 37 acres to do right across the road. I'm going to load up enough chemical solution to go and do that. I want to make sure I'm empty when I'm done, because I'm switching back to the other chemical for the next stuff, but I don't know if that'll be later tonight after my meeting, or tomorrow if it doesn't rain, or when it dries out after it rains. We'll see. So, anyway, we'll get her mixed up. We are putting the automatic boom height control to the test. A little uneven ground back there, on the turn no less. Makes that one a little tricky. It did pretty good. Kept them out of the dirt. Sometimes they're a little slow to come down, but we're good. What do we got? Maybe one more pass left is all in this field. Didn't quite make it. There's our check strip. That last little bit of a pass. Okay, well that means the sprayer's empty, so we can change chemicals more easily now. Not that it would have been a big deal before anyway, since they're almost the same chemical, 2/3 of it is anyway. But there was 50 gallons left in the tank when we got done with that other field, so if I can get it empty, it's better. So, alright, we're gonna fold up, go back and park it, and then I had to get ready for my meeting. Well, we got 250 acres sprayed today. That's a pretty good start, I guess. Well, there is a little bit of rain coming across west side of Indiana. That looked promising, but it's got a ways to go yet to get here. We'll see. Come on, keep moving. I know what you're thinking. You're using the DTN that you said you hated, or it was unnecessary, which it is. But I saw this on my phone. I wanted to show it to you, which I can't do on my phone very easily. So it's coming. Maybe we'll get something. Anyway, I am a little bit early yet for that meeting. I don't really need to leave, but it gives me a chance to go eat some food. So I think I'm gonna take off and head to that. I will be back after to see how we're doing with, well, I don't know what time it'll be. If I got time, maybe I'll spray some more. At least got to shut the water off. I'm gonna let that run, so we'll have plenty of water. And we'll check on the Traveler, although that's not gonna be done until 9 o'clock tonight. So we'll end this later, but I'll be back in a few hours. Hey, I'm back. And we still got some time, and the rain's falling apart. Oh well, let's mix up another load. I'll do one more tonight. Loaded out, loaded up, headed out to the next field. It's a long drive, this one is. And we're there. Cool. Spraying beans. Got some thin ones here. Not great. Most of them are good though. So, screenshot of the radar. Windshield. Yeah. It's raining. It's not raining much. I don't think it'll be a problem, but yeah. So the chemical definitely needs some time to dry on the surface of the leaves before it gets rained on and washed off, which is why that rain is a little bit of a problem, but it's not raining on this end of the field down here, so I think we're okay. We've got at least an hour and a half, 2 hours before any other potential rain gets here. There's just a little bit ahead of it. I didn't think it would get here, but I don't even think it was enough to get the plants wet. Like, looking at the leaves there, they're not even wet, so I'm not worried about it. I think we'll be fine. So I've got this dike over here, and rather than swerve out around it, I just shut the outside 2 sections off on the boom and kind of lifted it up over them so I don't hit anything. We're not spraying it. There's no reason to spray it, so we'll shut her off and save the chemical. Plus, where there's standpipes on there, I don't want to get chemical anywhere close to those. And now that we're past it, we'll re-engage our boom height and turn the chemical back on. All right, just finishing up here. Let's see what our map looks like. Pretty well got her all covered. A little point up there that I missed, but close enough. So, all right, we'll fold her up, go back to the farm. But I am done for tonight. It's almost 6 o'clock, so time for me to go home. All right, well, that load put us over 300 acres for the day. And I didn't work all that hard at it, so if I had a good day, I could probably do 800. I don't know. 1,000 would be a lot. But anyway, and just to be clear, if getting the bean sprayed right now was super pressing, I would certainly stay and keep doing it, but it's not, and there's rain that may or may not be on the way, so not a big deal. We'll see what happens with the weather tonight and go for it tomorrow if it doesn't rain, or it doesn't rain much, or whatever. We'll see. So I do have to go do that Traveler at about 9:15 tonight. Most likely I'm going to just shut it off. That's kind of what I'm thinking. So thanks for watching, guys. Have a good night, and we'll go at it again tomorrow. Hit the like and subscribe buttons for me, please. It would appear we have a hydraulic oil leak. See that drip? That's going to be a problem. So maybe we're going to fix a sprayer tomorrow. I don't know where it's coming from. I never saw oil spraying out of anywhere, but she's dripping pretty good. Yeah, we're going to have to fix that. So that's on the agenda for tomorrow. Great. Anyway, yeah, as I was saying, comments, questions down below, and hit the like and subscribe buttons for me, please. See you guys.